Hey, and welcome to Lemon Drops, brought to you by the Smoky Lemon crew. Well, we're talking branding, marketing, and everything in between. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's drop in. Welcome back to Lemon Drops, and today we are talking Spotswood College. Of course, Mandy McGregor from here and Tina both went to Spotswood College, and everyone knows this man, Mr. G, Mr. Volleyball, Mr. Phil Gayton. How are you, Phil?
Morning, Anna, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Mr. G is how a lot of people know you. Coach, teacher, huge part of the Spotswood story for years. I mean, you've got honours from the Queen for it and been recognised as a local hero here in Taranaki. So it's really nice to have you on our podcast today, Phil.
Pleasure.
Yeah. If anyone knows anything about Spotswood College, you are the man.
Correct.
Yeah. Phil does love a good chat too, so we'll see how we go, eh? Yeah. So, Phil, let's start with when you look back. What's it been like to be part of so many journeys, particularly volleyball, in students' lives? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's good to be able to reflect back on, 48 years of being on the staff at Spotswood. I did 4 as a student myself. So the school's now 66 years old, so I've sort of been part of it 52 years. But yeah, I guess watching students come in as little year 9s, or in my day, 30s.
Third formers.
As they were called. And just watch their physical and mental and emotional development over 5 years. Yeah, it's
quite a different person from when you start high school to when you finish high school, aren't
totally
you?
different.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many go on to be head boys and head girls that have been part of the volleyball scene.
Could you have picked them at the start?
Some, yes.
Yeah.
Others, no. Yeah. As they've matured and developed into leadership skills. And I hope I've been part of that process of setting an example as a role model, giving them values to follow, responsibilities when they have to referee games and, through fundraising activities. Giving them responsibilities to become better citizens as young adults.
And Spotswood College, like you say, has a huge place in your heart. Like, you have been there for the majority of it. And you took on the role of chairing the Spotswood College Alumni Trust. So what made you say yes to that challenge?
Well, that was self-inflicted.
I wondered if it was. Was it your idea?
Yeah, well, back in the early 80s, before the 25th Jubilee, in 1985, they formed the Next Pupil Association that was really what became the organised committee for that, and then nothing really happened after that. And so back in October of 2005, I got a group of prominent local ex-pupils together and said, well, as the school's now ageing, let's form an alumni trust that we can do something with that the ex-pupils can then contribute back, hopefully, to the younger generation. It's a bit of a tricky one at present because the school is still young. Remember, we're the only co-ed high school in New Plymouth and the only non-boarding high school. The pre-war schools, particularly the single-sex boys' schools, always had strong ex-pupil associations, probably mainly through the 2 world wars with, like New Plymouth Boys High have their role of honour on the gates. So I think that sort of has brought a lot of ex-pupil boys together. But yeah, so I just thought in 2005 it was time for Spotswood to do something. And the long-term part of that was to hopefully generate people leaving bequests and stuff in their wills. But the oldest ex-pupil at present would only be about 78. So while some have passed on, I guess from about now on we're about to hit the stage where there will be more.
And there's been some pretty amazing former students from Spotswood College and staff that have gone on to shine in all sorts of areas, sports and the arts and business, science, public services. So would you be able to share a few standout names and stories with us, Phil?
Yeah, Anna, we Interesting you asked that question. Next April, on the 8th of April, we're celebrating the Alumni Trust. We're going to celebrate the outstanding achievements of ex-pupils. Now, there's approximately 20,000 students have gone to Spotswood.
Wow.
So we've looked at the about 10 categories: business, commerce, education, academic, visual arts, performing arts, sport, music, culture, technology, you name it.
All bases.
Yep, we're trying to cover all bases because people, once they leave the school, go into all sorts of career pathways and vocations. So I drew up a list of about 40 or 50 of people who I thought were worthy of consideration. So the trustees, we had 2 or 3 meetings last year, and we've come up with a list of 29 who will be the inaugural recipients. So we've broken it down into 3 categories. There's a service award that need not be an ex-student, but people who have been associated with the college, who have served the school, the community, the country, or even internationally, will be a recipient of that. Then there's an Outstanding Achievement Award for those who've excelled in those areas that I mentioned, and the highest one will be the most outstanding, and that's exceptionally top achievement. So I think we've got something like, I think there's 7 for the Service Award, 17 for the Achievement Award, and 5 for the most outstanding achievement. So we're going to do 29 awards.
Yeah. So I suppose you're not allowed to say who, because they'll be finding out on the night. But amongst that collection, is there some names we might recognise? Yeah, well, from that list of 50,
there's several who I can mention.
Sure.
Some may be recipients and some won't, but...
Keep you guessing.
Yeah, just keep everyone guessing. But if you take, for example, in the business world, you've got Stephen Jennings, who started off Renaissance Capital in Russia. He was one of the top 20 Russian oligarchs at one stage. Murray Horn, who went on to be Secretary to the Treasury. Murray got a PhD in economics from Harvard. He then chaired the New Zealand branch of the ANZ Bank. You've got someone like Dennis McNamara, who was our first law graduate, worked for the United Nations for over 40 years. Now, Dennis is interesting that his whole life's been devoted to humanitarian work. He was designated by the Secretary General of the UN to go to Cambodia after the Pol Pot regime. So he had to resettle all the refugees in Cambodia.
Wow. And
that was followed up in the late 90s with the Serbian war, when they had that big skirmish in Serbia and around there. So he then resettled the 8 million refugees there. So Dennis has done outstanding work humanitarian-wise. Another interesting one, Luella Samuels. She survived the Wahine disaster.
Wow.
You've got Nick Banks. Nick was the second Kiwi to climb Everest. So he hasn't got his photo on the $5 bill.
Sir Ed has.
Sir Ed has.
Yeah.
So he was the second to the summit of, or second Kiwi to the summit of Everest.
Yeah.
You've got Cameron McMillan for dance. Now, Cameron's performed, he was one of the lead male dancers, New Zealand Royal Ballet, and also for the British Ballet. He's done exceptionally well in the dance area. Christine Thacker lives on Waiheke. She's a world-renowned ceramicist. Marianne Mugridge, a very famous Taranaki artist. She's done well. Then you've got people like Bruce Lynch.
Now, he's married to Suzanne Lynch from the Chicks.
Yep. Now, Bruce has had an outstanding musical career, and he did 2 world tours with Cat Stevens. He's been a back-end artist for Art Garfunkel and Leo Sayer and Christy Berg, but so he's
producer and everything.
Producer and arranger, yep. So he won 2 New Zealand Producer Awards. So it's Bruce. Natasha Lees, who was at school little bit after Tina was
Mandy's sister.
Yep, was at school. Now, she has had 2 nominations for Emmy Awards.
Wow. As an actress or as a...
No, one was for hairdressing.
Yes.
And one was for, she did the artwork for, she was pretty involved with King Kong.
Okay.
I think she worked sometime for Peter Jackson and did a lot of work there, but she's based in Europe. Who else would there be?
There's quite a handful that have received like Queen's Honours and things as well. Like Harry Dynhoven, he went to Spotswood, did he?
Yep, Harry's an ex-Spotswood staff and student.
And the Boucher family, they've got a connection?
Dylan and his brother went to Spotswood when they were living at Bell Block.
Right.
And they moved to Auckland in year 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we always consider, if you've sat on a seat in the classroom, then you're an ex-Spotswood. Yeah, so he's one of our Olympians.
Yeah.
Helene Tompkins.
Yes, equestrian.
For equestrian. She's another one. Commonwealth Games, Barna Bond in swimming. Your own Mandy McGregor for archery. Yeah, so there's, in the sporting world, there's been a few.
Do you think there's certain qualities or experiences from Spotswood that seem to connect these alumni?
Yeah, I don't know. I think one of the big things is that the Spotswood has produced a diverse range of achievers.
Yes.
Probably more so than some of the single-sex boys.
Sure, yeah.
Where the emphasis, and not knocking it, but the emphasis was on the rugby and the cricket and the sports. And the sports. Spotswood's always acknowledged whatever.
All sectors.
Yeah, yeah.
And any other names you want to throw in there, Phil?
Yeah, another 3 that come to mind, Anna, is Horst McLeod.
Oh, yes.
I set up about 15 years ago. I've established a roll of honour board for all of the ex-Spotswoodians who have served overseas.
Yes. He's got a rich history.
And I think Horst did 6 deployments overseas. Graham Chard is also on there.
Currently running for mayor.
You've got someone like Neil Ray, who's well known in the TV world for Brokenwood Mysteries, Scarface, and a whole lot of other movies. And the other interesting one is when the Queen died, Shannon Austin was the acting New Zealand ambassador or High Commissioner in London. So she was part of that whole proclamation and had to sign the proclamation for the inauguration of King Charles.
Wow. So her name will be forever, like her signature immortalised amongst that.
Correct.
Yeah, wow. And so do you think there's any qualities that seem to connect all these alumni or experiences from Spotswood?
No, I just think the nature of the student that's gone to Spotswood is probably the biggest connection, and people have gone out into their own little world, and like Mandy has here, and become achievers. Yep.
Of course, Mandy was a Commonwealth Games competitor with her archery. She's a bit coy about it, actually, so
I bet.
Good you mention it in here. Yeah. When you want to pass the honours board, Phil, are there names or stories that sort of catch your eye or that you feel particularly fond of?
Yeah, there's two things in the assembly hall. You've got all of the head boys and head girls photos for the last 60 years. And also the list of head boys, head girls, ducks, and the scholarships. And every now and again when you walk past, you'll see one, you'll say, well, she's done this, he's done that, and
keeps the memories alive, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, which is so important. So Spotswood's got a great tradition of producing talent across so many fields. So being a co-ed school, like it wasn't just sports or just music, it covers so many bases. So in what ways do you think that kind of legacy helps inspire the students of today?
Hopefully, I know when I was organising some Achievers Award ceremonies that we had at school, I would try and bring in some ex-pupils who had had achieved, maybe not significantly, but for example, when Blair Telford came back to Plymouth to run the local police station, Blair came in and spoke. So having ex-pupils come into the school,
inspiring.
Yeah, and I know the feedback I got from the students was that they enjoyed listening to people and they don't get a lot of opportunity. That's one of the problems. And of course, if you have a jubilee, the ones that have just left for the last 10 years generally don't come to those ones. So hopefully, there is some connection between the ex-pupils.
Why do you think it matters for the school and the community of the school to celebrate these kinds of achievements together?
Here, I just think that New Zealanders in general have been pretty slack in acknowledging we've always been this big tall poppy society, but I have a bit of a passion to acknowledge what people have actually achieved.
Well, you're the one that shares about the latest, on the Spotswood College alumni social media. You're always saying about you got your finger on the pulse of what your ex-pupils are up to.
Yeah, I sort of try and scan the newspapers and magazines, and I get the odd bit of information provided, and to put that up, I've got a database of 2,500 that I send out a newsletter every holidays, and I think there's probably about 1,500 follow the Facebook page. So I just try and keep them informed of what ex-pupils have done.
And you touched on about when past students come back to give something tangible back to Spotswood community, like that helps instill and inspire the generation that is still there.
Right, yep. It's just a pity that, it can't be done more often. Because a lot of our ex-pupils, of course, move overseas or leave your Plymouth. I've often said to people that I've probably coached 500 volleyball girls in the last 30 years, and I could hardly name 10 that still live in New Plymouth.
Because I suppose in order to get those big opportunities, you do have to spread your wings and leave the region. Yeah.
So at our 50th Jubilee in 2010, I think we had someone from every continent except Antarctic.
Wow.
So
that's where they've all spread to.
That's how far they're spread out.
Yeah. The alumni keeps people connected and shares successes. So how do you see those connections between past and present students building that sense of pride and belonging?
Oh, that's a hard one. As I said before, hopefully some of the ex-pupils that may have children or grandchildren at the school can, through the Facebook page and that can to help to pass on the knowledge of what ex-pupils have done.
What do you hope the next generation of Spotswood College students will carry forward into the future?
Hopefully they'll, and each generation's totally different. Gen Z is something unique. There's probably less connection with the school now than there was in the 60s, 70s and 80s. I think that the students are more connected socially together.
Do you think what do you think that's down to?
Well, one of the things that we've had a problem with at Spotswood was over the last decade is the seniors lost their common room.
Okay.
And I think that was big right through up until the 90s, where the Year 13 students in their study periods and lunchtimes would all meet in the common room.
And it was a big deal to get to that point in high school where you got to have the common room too, something you worked towards and looked forward to.
That's it. And I think that the lack of a senior common room has not helped. That sort of socialising. I know people that were in the senior school in the 1970s who still get together 2 or 3 times a year as a group.
That's
in
pretty
such
good,
times.
isn't it? Because they've been around and they've still got those connections. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that social media probably hasn't helped because back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, everyone talked.
Yeah. Not so much now.
And so much now.
Yeah, there's obviously so much passion there for you, Phil, though, with it all. And is there anything else we haven't covered off that you'd wanted to pop in there?
No, I think that sort of sums it up pretty good. Spotswood is unique.
Yes.
It's the only co-ed school in the town. It's the only non-boarding school in the town.
In New Plymouth.
So everyone that's produced from Spotswood is homegrown.
That's right.
I know there was one high school in town several years ago. There was an article on the Daily News that they had 12 current New Zealand junior representative sports people, of which 10 were boarders. Spotswood, through its international department as well, has done some good stuff. We have a lot of exchanges to the school from New Caledonia and visits overseas. We've got a sister school in Japan, so we go there, they come here. Spanish students have been to Spanish language students have been to Spain, and some have been to Argentina. So
it's very interesting. And I think on behalf of the community, we say thank you to you, because you're the one keeping those memories alive and making sure those past pupils, their successes are being praised and sung. And that comes down to you, Phil. So I feel like you're kind of like the uncle for everybody at Spotswood.
proper.
You also don't like taking the accolades too well either, eh? The passion's obviously very relevant. And if we wanted to find out a bit more about Spotswood College alumni, or maybe you're an ex-pupil watching and you'd like to join, how do we go about that, Phil?
Just have a look on the Facebook page. We've also set up a website. That's another interesting thing that is hosted by Smoky Lemon. And that's got a lot of data. You'd need just about a fortnight to sit down and go through it.
There's a lot of info. Yeah.
There's a lot of info that goes back to the Spotswood name, which is interesting because Louisa Spotswood was the wife of Richard John Seddon, the Premier of New Zealand. And in 1906, when the government was sorting out the various areas in New Plymouth, they named that suburb Spotswood after his wife. And they had an interesting background that they both came from Melbourne. And if anyone's in Melbourne and you take the rail out to the coast, you actually would go through the railway station of Seddon and of Spotswood.
Okay.
He had a bit of a passion for Louisa in his young days. I think he wanted to marry her, and her father said, "Oh, go and earn some money."
Okay.
And he came across to the South Island and did some mining, went back and brought her back to New Zealand, and the rest was history. And then he eventually became the New Zealand Premier. So there's a lot on the history.
Yeah.
And we've uploaded trophy winners, and just info. Just general information about the school. So
the list of the names and the achievements is massive. So a lot of work's gone into that, Phil, and we appreciate you sitting down and having a chat with us today. We'll put some links below if you wanted to find out a little bit more about the Spotswood College alumni. But thank you for all you've done, Phil. You're a legend.
Pleasure.
Mr.
Thanks,
G.
guys.
Mr. Volleyball. Awesome. We'll catch you next time on Lemon Drops.